Okay, I did some unit tests in Dragon Invasion on Thursday. There's been a couple of new units lately that are good in DI. I'm going to go ahead and assume that everyone knows the meta, basically. For DI, it's Galu and sharpshooters and a slow source. Everything is there to boost their sharpshooters' damage or to help keep them alive. Um, they do all the damage, passive assassin emblems, everything you can to maximize their potential, rosters, blah, 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 blah. Assuming you all know that, so I'm just going to go to the methodology, the testing quick, and then we'll get right to it. So I'm bringing these 3 units, and then an Angel, and this is because of the offensive stat that Bone Dragon and Revi and all offensive units have, that reduces defense. It's called penetration. It's the one you get for talent potions. So by bringing the Angel, I can be sure that when I test, that it doesn't stack. So when I test Bone Dragon or Revi or an offensive unit, I can know that it's not just their generic offensive that's responsible for the results of the test. Also, the Angel doesn't do any DRR or anything that's going to mess with the test in that manner, and it'll help keep my units alive. I'm not frenzying them, but I don't have a full team, so they're likely to get hit by some more stuff like Titan's Thunder and whatnot. And then an Ogre, because again, Ogre doesn't apply any DRR or anything like that. Just to tank the dragon. Not that you need a tank, but when you're only running a couple of units and you don't want to mess up a test, and you got 45 minutes till you got to have your own runs done. I was really rushed for time on these tests. In any case, that's why I'm bringing those 2. I'm bringing the Ice Elemental. I'm not testing the Ice Elemental. I might do that Monday. I have before. A lot of people think Dendroid's better. The defense reduction on the Dendroid Awaken doesn't seem to do anything for me. He can apply constant slow at 5-star woke, which is good because Zombie and Centaur can't. But the Ice Elemental slow, it has a 15-second duration, and the silences are 10 seconds, so it shouldn't clear. It doesn't say the exact chance it has of applying. With 5 extra seconds to spare and doing maybe 9 attacks a second, the slow is staying up 100% of the time. She doesn't do anything besides slow that's beneficial, except for she's a 9-man unit. So she's playing Stacks Darkness Eternal. Quickly, the speed at which they accrue is really important to damage and DI, so much so that I use a second set of DI emblems on another 9-man unit, and maybe a third I could still get benefit from. But whether or not she's the best slow source to bring aside, she's coming for the test. Applying the DE emblems at that rate, having to switch emblems out to test each individual unit so they get a fair shake and have enough DE emblems and yada yada yada, it would be too much work. So I'm confident she's the best choice, but I'm not going to prove it in this video. Roster is Castle, Rampart, and Range, nothing else, so no other units can happen to get a benefit from a roster. So we've controlled the roster, we've controlled for the offensive penetration, we've controlled for everyone having the same source of slow and a source of Darkness Eternal emblem stacks. Got the first base run here going. Now, originally for DI testing, I would not cast any spells, because obviously if I buff 8 of the 9 marksmen accidentally, or cast a buff a second earlier or a second late, or there's a ton of variables that I can just eliminate by not casting. However, when you rearrange units and move them around and stuff, try new units, it'll change which units get targeted by the little dragons. Little dragons do a buff that raises the defense on the main dragon, so you got to kill them right away. I realized I can have a pretty big effect on tests when I was moving units around once to make sure it wasn't a RNG seed to change it up, and if a dragon doesn't get killed right away by the ballista, it totally will make 2 teams do different damage. Another thing I'm doing for control is letting it run for a while. Normally I'd go 70 or 80 seconds, but I had like literally minutes on DI, so I'm doing the first 50 seconds. I gotta slow down frame by frame. The second it turns to 110, there's the score. And so now I'm doing another one. It looks different. I have a cheap little Walmart special tablet that I was using, so while I was loading the game, I had the other one ready. So there's a couple tests on different devices, but this was just a minute after the other one. The other one was 27.00 million when the timer ticked down to 110, and so we're trying to hopefully get something similar to that, so we can then compare that, add each unit individually, and compare their damage to the base and see how much they've improved it. And that'll allow us to look at their relative damage without having them in the group together to compare damage, and without the ability to see the stat screen to see the damage. Because you got to quit early, although I tried quitting too early here. But I didn't quit all the way out. And you can see you get 27.16 this time, so the two bases are pretty close together. So that's good. We'll put the average of the controls up here and on to the testing. We'll start out with Nightmare. Not very far up my list of units. It's down here with some grays and the dragon turtle that appeared in my inventory. I don't even know how I got that thing during the event. But in any case, in a sense, this guy is obviously an investment because he's SR plus, and you gotta pay to get him, unlock him. But after that, you don't gotta do shit. You can leave him 3-star. His skill is really useful for DI, but it does not scale with level. Reduced healing. That's not it. Yeah, this is it right here. 2% damage reduction. DRR stacks up to 15 stacks. And it can be dispelled, although duration is 10 seconds and the duration of the silence is 10 seconds. So it'll get cleared by the silences, unfortunately. But that's 30% DRR when it's stacked, and that is quite a bit. Even at 3 stars, I mean, hell, I leveled this up to level 6, but you don't even need to do that. I mean, unless you play Inferno or something, or maybe someday I'll find another use for him. But right now, he's just for Dragon Invasion. So all you gotta do is have him, and then boost his attack speed as much as possible. And look at his power. Oh, that's sad. But anyway, he does pretty well on DI, just how we'll find out. Off to the races. And I guess I didn't mention that by far the emblems that are best for Nightmare are Witness, the 4th set of them, because they give 5% attack speed. They give more once you kill a unit, which will never happen in DI, obviously, but it increases the rate at which the stacks apply in the beginning and after silences, and makes a big difference. So that's what I use on Manticore. And for that reason, I set aside attack speed random stat emblems, because for some reason, like a bunch of other things, like that 1099 diamond top up. Here, I'll just throw it up on the screen. So the attack speed bonus for 2 set should be over 3%. It's 1%. So the random stat is obviously pretty damn handy. That's what I have on the Nightmare for the 2 slots that are not Witness, and she came in at 29.63 million. So that's a 9.42% increase, added 46.4 thousand damage per second before buffs. So that's pretty good, especially for a 3-star unit. Other than better attack speed emblems, I mean, the Nightmare is pretty much as improved as they're going to be for DI. So that's kind of a final score for them. Now on to the Black Knights. Without this specialty here from Lord Hart, without that 2-star global, there's no reason to bring the Black Knights. I have really strong ones. I'm a big fan of Chargers, but even if you don't, if you have the Heart bonus, it's an extra 30% DRR for the first 30 seconds, or the first 30 seconds after he attacks. And then the second reason I bring them, because they're useful for that reason, is they're a 9-man unit to put a second set of DE emblems on, which makes a really significant difference. Even with a 9-man Ice Elementals already applying DE, for this test I'm going to take one off, just so that it doesn't give an unfair advantage, and just to make it easier to test. And then I'll test it again. I tested it again actually already with the DE on, so I'll get that up too, which also allows us to evaluate the benefit of a second 9-man Darkness Eternal applier. But without further ado, let's see how he does without that. This is just on the 30% DRR for 30 seconds for getting this test. So as you can see here, 27.82 million, only a 2.74% increase, 13,500 damage per second. Not that much. So, but like I said, I've tested him again with the Darkness Eternal to show how much of a difference a second set can make. Anyway, on with the My Little Pony theme. Okay, Unicorn. So this guy is good in DI, and he is not a big investment, which is nice when you compare some of the Manticore and Bone Dragon and Black Knights and some of the units that I'm using, or testing rather. Spoiler alert, I already did the test. Anyway, so he's a relatively small investment. He needs 2 skills. You do want him 6-starred, but you probably have him 6-starred by now. Blind. You want to level up because you want the duration of that longer, not because it's going to make the dragon miss, but because of this one here. Now, this is worded differently, and I think it might be different than DRR technically. It doesn't reduce the unit's damage reduction. The wording in this game, it might be fucking DRR, who knows, but it definitely does boost your damage in DI. You do want him woke, but you don't need to get any soul stones for him. You just want this here so that he casts blind right away. Otherwise he casts it like every, I want to say it's like 35 seconds or something. It's what it says here, plus it's, or yeah, it's like 20 seconds plus the duration. So it's like 32 seconds or something. I don't know. But you'll get an extra one. He'll do it at the start of the battle. So that awakening's worth getting. And those don't benefit Dragon Invasion at all. And that's what we're testing right now. Talents don't matter. Emblems, we were using Eternal Secret to boost the length of the blind and how much reverse plus DRR negative more damage it makes the elves do with this thing here. And that's about it for Unicorn. There's no stacks, so you don't need to worry about attack speed. Just bring it and level up those 2 skills and make it 1-star, and it'll boost your damage, and we will find out how much here. And the introduction to how I'm doing the testing and everything took a while, so I've got more testing. I'm going to put it up in separate videos. Now I've got the basis for methodology down, so that's good. I did slow it and check the unicorn blind. It's on the screen. And the total, 28.28 million. That's a 4.43% increase over the base, 21.2 thousand damage per second. Not a bad showing by Unicorn at all. So I've done testing on a lot more units already. I've already got it done, already slowed it down and got the data recorded. I just got to put it up. So we'll see that coming soon. And eventually I will put 22-1 up, but I gotta have my head start for a few days yet. I haven't even had a chance to get destroyed in 22.2 yet. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll get more Dragon Invasion unit rankings up soon.